Hey everybody, this is Sandman. Tekken's a game that has 41 characters, and it is one of those games where some people are just bound to be more popular than others. Take, for example, the Mishimas. They tend to be the most popular in this game throughout most seasons. And if you don't play Mishimas, then maybe you'll pick someone like King, or Steve, or Hwarang, or any of the other popular characters, and, get you some dubs. But what if you didn't like any of those guys either? Well, that's when you go to some of the less popular characters. And by less popular, I mean from this boundary right here, starting at Miary Zo and ending up at Panda. Also, I have to point out that this opinion of mine is just an opinion from my experiences, right? So don't take it the wrong way or personally. This is just what I found. And if I am ignorant on some things, like some characters and what they have or what they don't have, then that's on me. And I'd like to learn more. Tell me about it in the comments. There's nothing wrong with these characters being less popular than the rest, but there is a bit of a problem for me when it comes to their matchups. Starting with the fact that there aren't that many YouTubers or content creators that make videos about these niche characters. I feel like I'm doing my part somewhat in the way I make these videos about Shaheen, showing you his counterplay, what he wants to do, and stuff like that. And I'll give credit where it's due. Uh, at least from what I've seen, I know that Lydia players have been doing their part in creating anti guides for the character, ways to play her, and those videos are up on YouTube. And there are two main YouTubers, namely Rainbow Neos and Roikiri, which I do appreciate. I mean, Lydia is a pain, so it is definitely helpful with the info that they provide. But when it comes to characters like Zhao Yu, Arisa, Jack, even Leroy, Leo, Raven, Zafina, and the Bears, it feels like there's a gap that can be filled by very good players of those characters. And I think that people would be less toxic about fighting those characters if that knowledge and that tech was shared. Of course, the classic Tekken players would tell you to lab, and obviously that there's nothing wrong with that. Maybe you don't want to really spend all that time just labbing when you have very little knowledge of how to play like Raven or any of these niche characters. These videos come in clutch in a very fantastic way. And I think more guides and more anti guides of those characters would make those characters more liked in the community. I hope I'm doing my part when it comes to Shaheen, though. And secondly, it's that some of these characters get to play by their own rules instead of the already established rules that are known in Tekken, meaning the movement and the fact that there isn't a thing called guaranteed like setup slash Oki unless you're at the wall. But somebody like Kuma gets to break these rules. Now, there are some cases where characters can get guaranteed follow ups, like Feng's back turned one into his heat engager or any I-14 move. I think that's cool. I think that's fine. But this Kuma thing is a little too much. I'll show you. No matter what wake up this Raven does, he will always be caught out by the ending forward forward 1+2, which is this move. And this setup is guaranteed no matter what wake up the Raven chooses. They have to hold that every single time. And that's not a whatever move, by the way. This is +8 into stance mix up every time. And if you notice, this attack has 2 frames at which it can land. So it can be +8, or if the Raven rolls away a little bit, it can be +9 on block, which is absolutely absurd. Most of these characters have at least 2, 3, or even 4 stances. I'm looking at you, Lydia and Alisa. And also, I'm counting back turned as a stance for Zhao Yu and Raven. To me, the amount of stances these characters have is just simply too much to lab for. And with the amount of players being so low in these characters, it really makes me not even want to consider labbing them. You know what I mean? It's kind of like, oh, when's the next time I'm gonna see a Shaheen main, right? And then you end up in God 2, 3, or 4, and there's a very high percentage of those of that character in that rank. It's not that I don't want to lab, it's just that I don't know where to start. I mean, the different attacks that go into different stances. Does this stance have a power crush? Does this other stance have a low or a throw? These questions are bound to be very difficult ones to answer because, well, I just don't know. I wouldn't know where to start. So, by a little more contribution from these players to make videos about, you know, how you would play against Raven or play against Leroy, would make them a lot more liked in the community, and you would appreciate the matchup if you knew how to fight them, right? Like, people like fighting Kazuya because of the quantity of the players, right? There are a lot of Kazuya players, and the fact that he doesn't have a stance outside of Wave Dash. So this combination works for Kazuya, on top of the fact that, oh, he's a cool character or whatever. People knowing how to fight him makes you appreciate a good cause here. It makes you appreciate, like, oh, I got mixed up here. Like, for real, I knew all the options, right? And he picked the one that I didn't think he would do. That's my bad. I can't have that feeling when it comes to Leo or Zhao Yu or Clive, or, despite the fact that I will upload a video of a Clive set that went really well for me, and I think you guys should take that as an example. And you're like, oh, how do I can't, I couldn't know this Raven stuff. Man, I hate Raven, right? So a little more knowledge being spread about these characters can make them be more appealing to the entire community. A lot of these characters have anti-Tekken moves. What I mean by that is that they are super moves that either lead to unbelievable mix-ups or cover a whole bunch of options that are in favor of the attacker. Leroy has two buttons of this kind of nature, particularly back 4, being a homing mid that is plus 4 on hit, but it is minus 9 on block. The reach is definitely working in Leroy's favor for sure. And this is kind of oh, let me throw out a mid. I'm a safe mid, right? So this is particularly strong, and it was stronger in Tekken 7, but still strong here. Another super button he has is down back 3, which is a low that hits grounded. It is plus 5 into Crane Stance mix up. And if you do it on block, it is minus 8, but the mind game is still kind of in Leroy's favor because he can parry. So you never know when it is a safe time to either call out Leroy for this mix up that he put you in, or when it is not safe. Of course, with playing against a particular Leroy player, you would know the times that they would go into parry or not, but that's not every Leroy player, which is what makes it particularly strong. Even Miary Zo has one of these super buttons, namely in Sidestep 2, being a plus 4 on block mid from Sidestep that goes into stance. This is a super button, namely because it does the same thing that Lee's 1 plus 2 into Hitman does for him. After your opponent blocks Sidestep 2, you have a whole bunch of options that are always in Miary Zo's favor. Namely, in Morangi 1 2, which is a 13 frame mid high that tracks sidestep right, and it can also beat crouch jabs. It can't track to the left, but that's why you do Morangi 2, which catches the sidestep left attempt from the defender. The thing is that Morangi 2 can't catch sidewalk right, but that's where Morangi 1 2 comes in. And what if you don't want to do either of those mids? Well, that's where Morangi 4 3 comes in, because this catches both sidewalks, either to the left or right. This way, Miary Zo can keep a character guessing at almost all times, which is, obviously a bad thing. And this game would be much better without these super buttons. I'm sure you've seen a whole bunch of these, but I wanted to point out these two characters, namely because they aren't that known. Also, shoutouts to Mr. Raf TV1 for talking about Sidestep 2 and the gameplay around it. It was in a video about Lee's 1 plus 2, ironically enough. And finally, these characters have a whole bunch of evasive moves that are very rewarding for the attacker. I bring up Leo because he has two that are very, very interesting. The first one being this. Down back 3 is a safe on block at -8, a high that has a whole bunch of evasion and a whole bunch of high crushing. A Leo player can go for it and essentially take you to the wall. I mean, we've all seen Leo combos, right? Take a look at this. 82 damage off of a very evasive move, and with the new Season 3 changes, he gets to have his charged. That makes his moves enhanced. Leo's down back 3 can also do this for some reason. It can fully mid-crush Dragunov's down forward 1 after he has, great advantage. He's at +4 advantage after running 2. So even when it is your turn as the Dragunov, or whatever character you may be playing, you have to look out for moves like down back 3 or forward 2 plus 3 at almost all times. Forward 2 plus 3 is also safe on block, just like down back 3. He also has the caveat of having some high crushing on his head sweep, which is a property only Leo gets to have. I tried to find a clip of it mid crushing because I remember seeing it somewhere, either on Reddit or Twitter, but I wasn't able to recreate it. But I just feel so confident that I have seen that clip. Nevertheless, these tools are very strong, and a lot of these characters have the same evasion either in their hop kicks or they have similar moves like Leo does right here. And that's about all I wanted to cover today with the niche characters of Tekken 8. Of course, I didn't cover every topic and every bit that makes these characters obnoxious, like the fact that a lot of them have power crushes in their stances. But that discussion is to happen in the comments, hopefully. Are there any other things that make these characters even more obnoxious to fight? I believe that niche character content creators can help make a more enjoyable Tekken experience by getting us familiar with these characters. I mean, there's so many. There's 41 right now. I'm just one man, so I don't think I can lab everyone and know everything about every character and how to deal with them. So, a community effort by these players can definitely help in making a more enjoyable Tekken experience. And if you're one of these creators, please let yourself be known in the comments. I mean, I'd like to hear from you for sure. Other than that, thanks for watching, fellas. Check out my other videos if you want to be a better Shaheen player and a better Tekken player while you're at it. And have a good one.